What's up, guys? It's your boy MattPack420 here from Life Liberty Gaming, coming at you with a new one. Today we're going to talk about Microsoft completing the Bethesda acquisition. So it was last year that Microsoft was announced that they would be acquiring Bethesda, but there was a few little loops they had to jump through, laws in the United States and the United Kingdom specifically that had to be approved, had to be combed over in order for them to acquire Bethesda, but they were actually able to get through all those litigation issues, and here they are. So let's get into this article. It says Microsoft completes Bethesda acquisition, promises some Xbox and PC exclusives. So that's interesting there. Microsoft has finalized its $7.5 billion deal to acquire ZeniMax Media, the parent company of Doom and Fallout studio Bethesda Softworks. The finalization comes just a day after Microsoft secured regulatory approval from the EU. So that's some of that litigation I was talking about. There was some stuff that was potentially holding up, but everything looked like it went through. So of course, here we are for the acquisition, and it will now bolster the company's first-party Xbox game studio up to 23. That's a big deal for Xbox, having 23 game studios for their Game Pass. See, they're trying to be like a Netflix of gaming per se. I think the Game Pass actually is a really good deal, especially because I got it on PC and Xbox. A lot of the first party games, actually all the first party games, will come day and date on Game Pass, so you don't even have to buy the game. So when you have these companies charging $70 for games in the next gen, it makes sense to probably get into a service like this. Like I said, and it's on PC, so I mean that's a win for me. I can go play it at my girlfriend's house on her crappy little Xbox One X, or I can come here playing on my nice PC, or when she gets the Series X, So it's a good deal, I think. But I do understand people want to own physical copies, and I get that. I love physical copies. Physical copies, I love it, but that's just the way things are going, like it or not. And I don't know, $70 for a game is pretty steep for some people, especially when they're not going to take out the microtransactions and all that other bullshit that comes with it. So it is what it is. But the future is probably going to be a subscription service, just like all these other things you got, like your Disney Pluses and your fucking Hulus and your Netflixes and your Paramount Pluses and your HBO Max, and just service after service after service. It gets to the point where you're already paying more for the services than you were for cable, but that's just the way things are going. This is the next step in building an industry-leading first-party studio team, a comment we have to our Xbox community, says Microsoft Gaming Chief Phil Spencer. With the addition of Bethesda creative teams, gamers should know that Xbox consoles, PC, and Game Pass will be the best place to experience new Bethesda games, including some new titles in the future that will be exclusive to Xbox and PC players. The deal includes Bethesda sub-studios like Dishonored developer Arkane, Wolfenstein Studios Machine Games, Doom maker id Software, the Evil Within studio Tango Gameworks. Microsoft now has 23 first-party game studios compared to Sony's 13 PlayStation studios. Yeah, and Sony actually just closed down one of their Japanese studios. They're trying to go all Western. What is very funny is that Microsoft has been trying their damnedest to get in the Japanese market forever, and they just cannot crack that egg. And Sony is starting to abandon their Japanese market. It's freaking crazy. Like, they're making so much money in the West. Like, the PS5, interestingly, isn't selling well in Japan. It's not. The console of choice in Japan is the Switch. They've gotten really hardcore into handheld gaming over there, and the Switch is a perfect thing for what they are doing over there. But still, it's very interesting that Sony is abandoning their Japanese market. They're censoring their anime games. They're not allowing some games, and Microsoft is putting the Yakuza games, and they're trying to get some Japanese studios to be on the Game Pass, and Game Pass being on a cell phone. So that's an interesting way that Microsoft is going to try and crack that Japanese egg, is to try and get their games on handheld devices. So that's pretty interesting. But Sony ditching their audience. That's crazy. And they did try the handheld thing. They tried the Vita and the other stuff, but it just didn't work out for them. But to completely abandon their audience is very interesting to me. Bethesda will now run as a separate business as Microsoft with its existing leadership. This is the same approach Microsoft has used in recent big acquisitions, including Mojang, all these, GitHub and LinkedIn, yeah. In a separate blog post, Bethesda marketing chief Pete Hines reveals that there won't be any big changes just yet. First, let me say that we're not making any landmark announcements or changes right now, as we've all shared the expectations that Bethesda Software is our studio will continue as have in the past, just with more support and resources that we've ever had before. Obviously, Game Pass has been an important initiative for Xbox, and we will be working on putting even more of our games into Game Pass than ever before. Beyond that, stay tuned. We're just getting started together. Yeah, so basically, they're doing what they're gonna do, and they just have more money. But I guarantee that going forward, that their games are going to be exclusive to the Game Pass and the Xbox and PC. Like right now, they've got games in development that are already contracted to come out on the PlayStation and be multi-plat basically. So those are already done, and Microsoft said that they're not going to do anything about those contracts. They're going to honor all those contracts, so they're just going to let it go. So I believe there's actually a PlayStation timed exclusive game coming that was developed by Bethesda Studio. I don't remember what it is, but it's coming, and it'll probably eventually find its way in Game Pass probably a few months later, maybe a year later. But I expect that any game that has not been announced yet that's starting development, or just I'm pretty sure that they're going to be on Game Pass, Xbox, and PC only. Microsoft originally announced its plans to acquire Bethesda in September, promising to honor PS5 exclusive commitments to Deathloop, that was the game, and Ghostwire Tokyo, that's right. Games like The Elder Scrolls Online will continue to be supported exactly as it was. Questions have been raised over Microsoft's plans for Bethesda exclusives on Xbox and PC, and Spencer's made it clear today there will be some new titles that will only be available on Microsoft platforms. Exactly how many isn't known yet, but in the meantime, Microsoft will bring more Bethesda games to Xbox Game Pass later this week. Well, good. I hope to see... Well, that's good. I want to see some more Bethesda games on the Game Pass, especially on PC, because I want to get a few more things to play on them. I'm still going through Doom Eternal. That's pretty sweet, playing that at 140 frames. Pretty sweet. Alright, well, yeah, I do expect, like I said, what I expect is that any game that hasn't been announced yet or that's in development right now that we don't know anything about, those are going to be exclusive to the Xbox platform. I think they're just going to honor the contracts they have now, probably because it would cost money to break out of them, and they're just like, screw it. And not to mention, the Xbox is actually going to get the show along with PlayStation, which is going to be pretty sweet too. I'd like to see how that looks on the Xbox Series X if I can get my hands on that. But I wish I could get that on PC. So maybe fingers crossed we can get a PC port on that thing, because that'd be pretty sweet to be able to do cross-play on the show with your friends on Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. Of course, that'd be the mecca right there. So maybe one day. I think hopefully, in the this next gen, that barrier of exclusivity and that barrier of being that barrier of crossplay, I think that's going to be broken a little more. Although I understand the idea of exclusives, and I think it's a good thing that Microsoft's going to finally have exclusives and PlayStation has their exclusives. But I want to see more third-party games, or just more games in general with crossplay and cross-save, and just that. I think that's really good for the industry. I want to see more of that. So, I got a buddy who's all into PlayStation, but I'm getting to my PC. It'd be great to be able to play the show with him. I'll probably get an Xbox and I'll probably play the show with him that way. But that's just the way it is right now. So hopefully we'll get that barrier breaking down a little more. So anyway, that's all I got for today. If you like what you see, like what you hear, go and like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Deuces.